Hey everyone, welcome to Star Wars Talk, a new show where two scruffy-looking nerf herders get together to talk about Star Wars. I'm Jay.
And I'm Colin.
Welcome to the show.
Yay!
Hey Colin, how you doing?
I'm really good, man. It's another week closer to Rogue One.
It's actually a week. We're recording on Thursday night. It's a week.
I know.
We'll see
this time next week, you will be in your third showing of it.
I really will. Yes. This time next week, cool. I've seen it twice, and I'm watching it again, hopefully enjoying it, instead of going, why did I buy these tickets?
I don't think you've got any danger with that, mate.
It's going to be awesome, isn't it?
It's going to be cool.
Everything I've seen so far just looks fantastic. I can't possibly see how it can be bad. You know, and that being said, that Phantom Menace trailer was amazing.
Exactly. That's exactly why you've got to be careful what you're saying, pal.
I know. I don't want to jinx anything. So have you had a good week?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah?
Awesome. But it's been a quiet week on the Star Wars front for me because I've basically decided to go cold turkey now till the film comes out. So I've not read any news or watched anything apart from Rebels. And so it's going to make this episode particularly interesting for the fans out there because I ain't seen nothing.
Yes, all our fans out there.
Yeah, all 5.
Hello. We're lucky. But yeah, it has been. Actually, it's very tough for news at the moment because unless it's something that's giving away spoilers, we don't want to talk about that for one. Otherwise, it's been a whole bunch of press tours for the actors who, once you've seen one of those, it's the same questions on all of those.
Exactly.
Or it's just been some set photos or something like that. So there's not really much that you can get into. Next week, we'll have lots that you can get into.
And also, the other thing is people are starting to put their theories up. I mean, one of our mates on the Force Conversation things, Rene, Darth BX, he's got some theory that looks very scary. I don't want to know anymore. He's put up, he's got a theory, and I'm like, oh!
Yes,
don't say any more.
I did read that. I'm reading some things, but only things where I think I'm pretty safe. If it's got a spoiler in title, I'll post it and share it. If anyone wants to read it, they can. But I'm generally avoiding it.
Well, that's a good move. So, that said, have we got some news, Jay? I think we have. We've got a couple of things on the list.
Yeah, I think we have.
The first one, well, again, this week seems to be non-news week. Lucas liked Rogue One.
What?
Yeah, I know it's going to be a shock for you. It's going to be a shock that Disney would report that George Lucas liked Rogue One. You know, I'm sure he would absolutely never say anything bad about it. So, yeah. Any thoughts on that?
No, well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, he is quite known for not really making a comment if he doesn't like it so much. But
he doesn't make a comment full stop. I think that was a problem with the prequels.
Well, yeah. But that being said, I don't think that he's going to poo-poo it or anything, is he? At least not until after it's been released.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he didn't sound overjoyed with Force Awakens, did he?
No, he didn't. But one of the things about Rogue One that's quite good, and of course, you can only the reports that people are going to give are only going to be positive. They're not going to tell you bad things. But Gareth Edwards did say that when George Lucas came to the set, he was quite into it. He really liked. I mean, because different from Episode 7, these are the characters that fit in with the Star Wars that he originally was doing, back in the 70s and 80s. So yeah, he said that he liked it. He personally chose the hover tank pilot helmet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So George Lucas
he had some input.
Actually picked that one and said, "Oh, that's cool. We should use that." Obviously the Death Troopers, they came from an old concept art for Stormtroopers. Obviously now they're black instead of white. So there's little things like that, which I'm sure that if you'd, created something and you went onto a set where someone else is working on it, and then you saw some of the things that gave a nice nod back to your original concepts, that'd be quite cool. And
I guess also, like, I think the bitterness from him was he obviously had a plan for what he wanted to happen after for episode 7, whereas this isn't something he was ever going to do. So it's, he probably hasn't got a stake in it.
That's a good point, actually, yeah, because with episode 7, he had a plan for it to be about a 13-year-old kid or something like that, which is probably, I haven't, I don't know if it's out there, but I haven't seen what his original idea is. I think
they didn't put a full thing out because I think they're part of that whole deal. They had to make him go a bit shum on it. But he definitely had a specific, different idea, didn't he?
And for him, this must be quite refreshing in that case, because it is something completely new, but kind of ties into what his original idea was. I mean, I'm sure that in his mind, when they put out there that spies beamed the plans back, he probably had some idea of what it would be like, but this is actually getting to envision something.
Did he think it was going to be Gungans?
Probably. That's probably where it would have gone.
Yeah, Gungans. Yeah, or Ewoks.
Or maybe both.
Ugnaughts?
Ugnaughts, yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think he'd have put the Ugnaughts in the Gungans. I think he would have just like the 100 boss Nasses.
Oh, yeah.
Which would have just been horrible.
Okay, let's not go down that road. Let's see what other non-news we've got. John Williams, shocker, is recording the soundtrack or score for episode 8. Started this month, and that's going to go on till March or April. So, again, big shocking news there.
I'm a little bit jealous in a way, because he's getting to watch it.
Yeah,
but
it could change. It could change.
Of it, right? Because they put it on screen and then he scores the music to whatever he can see. So there's someone out there, other than the cast and crew, knows what's going to happen. It's like, man. But yeah, you know what? The thing with this that for me is, obviously John Williams does amazing work with his music on every movie that he's done.
Yeah.
For me personally, episode 7 had the weakest score out of all of the Star Wars films. That's not to say it didn't have some good tunes in there. Well, I love Rey's one, I like Kylo Ren's one, but overall there wasn't anything that just gripped me from the moment I heard it. Like even on, say, like episode 1, when Darth Maul appeared and you heard Duel of the Fates, I was just like, wow, this is like the, not the new Imperial March, but it was kind of like that.
Yeah, I got to say, normally when all the other films have come out, I've bought the soundtrack, I've had it on constantly listening, that kind of thing, and all the prequel soundtracks were brilliant, I thought. This one I didn't really bother with. I listened to it a couple of times. There wasn't any major hooks for me. Rey's theme probably the most. And that's the only reason I like that so much is because I like the version they do on the Star Wars show on YouTube, the speeded up version. And that's the only reason that tune's even stuck in my head. The rest, I probably couldn't tell you what the other themes are like.
Yeah, I mean, Rey's one, the original version, I really like, and I like the Kylo Ren / First Order tune. I like that one, but. Other than that, there isn't anything that if you said, like, even say, like Empire Strikes Back, all the little tunes that go along in the background, they come to mind.
Yeah. I can pretty much work the whole film out just in music.
Same, yeah. But in Force Awakens, I don't think I could.
No. But then I haven't watched it anywhere near the amount of times I've watched it.
True, yeah. I mean, we've watched those ones since we're little kids, right? So, I don't know. And actually, it would be quite interesting to ask someone who's probably a bit younger, who this is their first.
Well, I can say I didn't know if it was me, just that I'm too old to be bothered by things like that anymore, and I've actually grown up a bit.
Yeah, totally, man. You're totally grown up. Yeah.
Or basically, I don't know, or it was the soundtrack. I mean, I can't really blame John Williams. I reckon it's me.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, it's still a good soundtrack. I'm not saying that it's a bad soundtrack. It just doesn't.
It's not as good.
And then to say about it being because we're a bit older, but I was already old enough when the prequels came out. Do you know what I mean? Like they were, and if you think even something like the Attack of the Clones, which to me is the weakest of the movies.
Yeah, the soundtrack's still good.
But the soundtrack's good, right? So I don't know, but anyway, there's not much more to say about that, really, is there?
No, let's move on. Now, this really is the epitome of non-news. There was an article in Entertainment Weekly with Gwendolyn Christie.
Yep.
She's saying fans won't be disappointed with Captain Phasma in Episode 8. Any idea why? Well, she doesn't say it in the living thing.
Why do you think that fans won't be disappointed with Captain Phasma in Episode 8?
Well, I was wondering whether she was going to do some kind of burlesque act. That she definitely a set of fans that might be interested in that. I didn't know whether Tyrion was going to pop out of a helmet. That would be nice. To be honest, part of me was hoping it would be that she shoots herself and dies horribly. That would be quite nice.
So you weren't a fan of Phasma then?
What a rubbish character! I mean, she looked absolutely like she looked like some kind of kitchen utensil.
Right, you know what? This is the thing. When she was billing, Captain Phasma, they're like, this is the Boba Fett of the new movies, and I was like, no, it's not. Like, she had a cape on one shoulder, okay, but she had a normal stormtrooper helmet that's silver, and they were duck-faced stormtroopers. So, and then the worst thing is that she did absolutely nothing, and was really easy to force her to bring down the shields.
Yeah, I mean, basically, what did Finn do to make her give that shit? I mean, she was weak. She just basically rolled over. You know, that was not a badass at all. She just gave up.
That's why I think in Episode 8, obviously, she's just going to be a badass, because that's the only way fans can't be disappointed with her, is that she actually does something.
I'll tell you what, there's no redeeming. She basically put her hands up and went, and then Harrison Ford put her down the trash compactor.
I want to know how she got out of the trash compactor before Starkiller Base blew up, because that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
That could be like a whole story on its own.
I mean, yeah, and also she was the actress herself. I'm sure she's a lovely woman, but she was well annoying on all of the things I watched on Celebrations live feed.
Right?
She kept going woo, woo every 5 minutes. Every time she introduced them, woo.
Well, one of the things with Captain Phasma in the movies, her voice, it really annoyed my wife. She's just like, gosh, she's so slimy. And I said, you know what? I reckon that when they said to her, okay, you've got to be this powerful female dominator over the stormtroopers, she was like, must be a dominatrix. That's how she came across.
Well, she came across as Captain Toaster to me.
Captain Toast, that's her new name.
Yeah, Captain Toaster. She can get lost.
Captain Toaster suits. Totally.
Actually, she looks a bit like a toaster from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, that's true. Would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Anyway,
right,
let's move on.
That's it, right? That's the news of the week?
That's about the only bit of news I've seen. So,
that's all the non-news of the week. Yeah. Well, without going into spoiler territory, totally. That's pretty much all it is. It's very hard to come up with something this week.
So next week we're probably gonna start spoiling stuff.
Yeah, next week we can spoil stuff. I don't know if we're going to be able to record on Thursday next week, so we'll try and work out what we can do there. But it's going to be after we've seen Rogue One, and it's going to be spoilerific. So,
or we could just record on Wednesday before we go to the midnight show.
Well, that's no fun, because then we'll be going, I've got nothing to talk about because it all happens tomorrow.
No, but
we'll
be
maybe
mega
do
excited.
a little bit on Wednesday, and then finish it off after, like on the Friday or the Saturday, like do a little bit in between and see what happens.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, let's think about that later.
Like,
right,
man, so
next up we've got Theory of the Week.
Theory of the Week. Okay.
So, first of all,
theory of the week.
theory of the week. So first of all, I've seen a theory I like, and actually it's pointed out to me by my mate Matt. He sent it to me and was saying, "Oh, I'm going to blow your mind with this," and I was like, "Okay." So I'm not sure I believe it, but it's an interesting one, worth discussing. And it was also, he got it off a video that he saw on YouTube, and once again, my amazingly preparedness means I don't actually know what the video is.
Okay.
But it was a video, and everyone's seen it, so I'm going to. We'll put it in the links.
We'll put the link in the bottom, yeah.
But basically, it's all about who are the Knights of Ren. Now, there's been, since Force Awakens came out, there's been a lot of discussion around who are the Knights of Ren. Are they anybody important? Are they other fallen Jedi that Kylo basically convinced to join him when he... Well, even if he did wipe out all of those Jedi, because we don't even know if he did, because all we know is we've seen a Force vision. There's nothing actually confirmed that he did any of that. It could have been just a weird Force vision. So there's first of all a whole bit of question mark in my mind about all of that. But the key bit is, who are these Knights of Ren? Why are they, because they really are such a bit player in the film. The fact that they are named, they've got names given to them, like sort of code names in the various books and stuff that have come out, the Art of Star Wars, Force Awakens, etc. So they're obviously important, and they've obviously put a lot of work and thought into these people. It just didn't show in the film. So I'm guessing they're going to be a lot in Episode 8. I hope. I hope they will be.
We want to see a bit more, yeah. Something about them.
Yeah, so I was wondering, really, are they going to be the Knights of Revan, the character from the old Legends timelines that was based in the Old Republic? I believe he was a Jedi that went to be a Sith and then became a Jedi again, or something like that. But he had quite a lot of followers, and his mask and that, to me, was a bit of a cross between Kylo Ren's mask and maybe a little bit of Boba Fett thrown in there. So there's that theory, but the theory that I think is really interesting, and again, I don't know if it's even true. We're going to know next week probably. Are the Knights of Ren the crew of Rogue One? In this, basically, so basically, the theory goes that all the Rogue One crew get captured at the end of Rogue One. Again, this isn't spoilers. This is all just absolute tosh, probably, and someone coming up with a thing. But it was really interesting, and I think it spawned mainly because in that Art of Force Awakens books, there's some pictures of the Knights of Ren, and they've all got their names. I'll just look it up. Well, I'm talking to you in a very professional...
I'll put a picture of it up here as well.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, man. But basically, there's 5 guys there. One of them's called the Heavy, and he looks like the guy that's got the bazooka thing. I don't know any of their names. There's someone called the Armory. He looks like the main fella that talks to Jin a lot in the trailers. Yeah. There's the Sniper. He looks like one of them. Don't know which one. And there's the Monk, who looks like the monk fella. And then the most obvious one is there's someone called the Rogue. And it could be a female. Absolutely could be a female. So, anyway, they've got costumes that are similar to the way that these guys are dressed in Rogue One. So the theory that this fella's come up with is they all get captured, they all get brainwashed, and partly why Vader's not after... in Episode 4, Vader's after the transmission, not the actual plans. All the spies have stolen because he's already caught them. That's the theory. And that actually he's going to brainwash them and turn them into his team. And that some of the elements of maybe Jin wearing the Imperial costumes aren't just about her hiding and things like that. And it's actually, and apparently there was the way that the trailer was shot, the way that they speak. Again, watch this bloke's video because he goes into a lot more better detail than I ever can. But he was basically putting two and two together where the phrasing of the trailer and what Forrest Whitaker's saying at the same time as they're showing some of the people's. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you've seen the theory. What do you think on it?
I watched the theory. I mean, this one's actually been around for a little while, and the way the video's put together is really good, and a lot of these videos do a good job of convincing you. I mean, we talked about the Palpatine Rey one and all that stuff. I don't buy it.
No.
This one.
I can't. Well, first of all, I don't think they all survive. That's the first thing.
Yeah, I don't think they all survive. I like how the Rogue in the picture, they're like, it's kind of in the same stance as Jin. Like, standing, kind of got like an arm slightly bent, and
they look alive.
It's an interesting theory. I don't think that it all ties together here, and the reason is that there's a lot of stuff in Star Wars currently where we talked about before, it makes the galaxy smaller, where everything's, everyone's connected to somebody, and I don't really think that needs to be the case. And I think with the standalone movies, it's an opportunity for them to make the galaxy bigger, and that's why I really don't think it will carry any weight. Also, I kind of hope not. Like, I would like to see this, how the Knights of Ren were formed. I mean, that is something that could potentially be another standalone movie down the line. Maybe they don't give us too much in episode 8 and 9. They talk about it, you get another little glimpse at them. Kind of like, when Boba Fett being a fan favourite, when you didn't know much about him, I was like, who is this guy? Maybe just getting the little glimpses of them is a good way, because they can see how much attention it's getting from fans, But it's an interesting theory. It's a well done video, and it does go into quite a lot of detail, which certainly would make you go, okay, I could buy that.
I tell you what, these Star Wars video, YouTube video people, they're very thorough in their research, and as a representation of Star Wars YouTube fan. All I can say is the amount of hours that go into researching this show, I think, just shows on the screen. However, I mean, your point about this connectivity, I mean, it's my major rant at the moment. It's really annoying me. It seems like all Star Wars fans, all the different journalists that are writing about Star Wars, they're desperate to connect everything together. Everyone's got to be related to something. And it's partly Star Wars' fault. They are the king of making these really improbable links of people being related. They've been doing that. They did it with Jango and Boba, and they did it with, not only was Luke and then Leia and then, so there is a bit of a running joke. But now everyone's looking for connections when, as you said, they shouldn't exist. And I definitely think it's actually their mission, Lucasfilm's mission at the moment, to make these standalone films stand alone. They don't want them to be connected to anything else. So, I totally agree. I think that they will not be purposely. They will want to avoid anything that will connect family to. I mean, unless I'm completely wrong. I mean, it could be bullshit.
It's okay to have other characters. There's no problem with that. Like, I would love to see some new characters come. How cool would that be? We get some new characters. They've got their own backstory, something new to explore. I mean, one of the things that is quite cool about Rebels is that we've got this whole new band of Rebels. That we've got what's her name? Twi'lek. We know her father from the Clone Wars, sure, but the rest of them, like Ezra and those guys, we haven't seen them before. There's no connection. The one that always bugged me the most, the one where they tied it together, and it probably bugs you and most other people, is C-3PO and Anakin.
It was just a jump too far, wasn't it? That was insane. Yeah. They made him his robot.
When episode 7 was coming out, the one that was really bugging me was, Finn's got to be connected to Lando.
Oh, because he's black.
Right, that's ridiculous. But, I think it's true. With the standalones, it's a real opportunity to go, okay, we have the saga movies, so, okay, there's a reason there's some connections there, and they're tying it together a bit. But with the standalones, we can get away from that. We can, they've said already, we can go in different directions, try different ways of filming the movie. As we've got with this one, supposed to be like a war movie, like a World War II movie. You could get, as we talked before, like let's say Obi-Wan could be like a Seventh Samurai kind of, or swashbuckling, whatever. You can do that. And everyone doesn't have to be connected. That's the problem as well with having, say, like the Han Solo movie, for example, because again, it's like it's a character we've already seen, and there's going to be we want to say hi from this character, and I don't know. But this one, I hope that they don't tie it in. I hope that it is just the story of how the plans got stolen, what happened to them, and that's it. That's all I need from it. I don't need it to go any further. I'll be very happy, and as much as I might end up loving some of these characters and going, I think I'm going to really like K2. Hopefully at the end I'll be like, K2's cool, and then he gets blown to pieces. I'm like, man, it happens. The character dies. It was awesome while I watched him.
And the key bit is, then that makes that film worth repeat watching. If that's the only time you've ever seen them, then great. Just keep watching that film. Brilliant. Excellent.
And you get to see them, the actual adventure that they're on is a real heroic adventure. So it's...
Especially if they all die.
Yeah, you die doing some real major mission. So that'd be, that'd be cool.
So basically, what I get from this is you think Jin is going to be Rey's grandmother, yeah?
No. Did you see the thing that Felicity Jones put out? That she said we're not the same person. The public service announcement. But one thing I did want to bring up as a theory, which it just came to my mind earlier today, and I was like, I should have said to you. But we talked about Rey Palpatine and how that was quite cool. The one that I've always I've liked and I've thought for a long time was that she was connected to Obi-Wan, maybe like Obi-Wan's granddaughter or something like that. And I was watching Collider Movie Talk earlier on, which I love watching their shows. They're really good, and they've already seen the next episode of Rebels, and they didn't give away any spoilers, but they said coming out of that, you really start to think that might be the case. So I'm quite excited to see what's coming next week on that. So we're gonna get Rebels and then go into Rogue One.
I mean, it definitely. From the news we discussed last week, I think there is a strong chance that there's some Obi-Wan shenanigans going on here with his link to Rey.
Obi-Wan's been up to all kinds of shenanigans in the past.
He's been a lonely man in that desert.
Yeah.
There's only so much lightsaber polishing you can be doing.
Right, so anyway, I think that's it with the theory then.
Wow. And what an amazing theory it was, and we've completely had a thorough investigation into that. So thank you, Jay. Thank you for that input. Next up, we're going to do reviews, I believe. Reviews. Let's start with Rebels. What did you think, Jay?
Rebels is back, baby.
Oh!
Yeah. Dude,
okay.
Rebels is back. This episode, for me, was wicked. I really enjoyed it. It's what I've been wanting, Let's get back into it. Annoyingly, I was going to watch it again before the show, and I didn't get time to see it. I've only managed to watch it once so far.
Okay. Well, before we go any further, let's just say spoilers. We're going to spoil this.
Spoilers, yeah.
So jump ahead. We'll put the rough times on the link that we're talking about this, so that people can jump ahead.
There's going to be a banner here. So
okay, cool. Very technical.
Look, this time it's called An Inside Man. And we got to see Thrawn again, actually doing stuff. I mean, because so far Thrawn hasn't really done very much. Right?
He just very quietly stood there.
Yeah, he stood there, mumbled a few things. So first we got to see Thrawn being ruthless. I can't remember what the guy's name is. It's Ezra's friend, where they've infiltrated Sometimes.
Names are important, Jay. I think we've established that on this show.
and I love where Thrawn's come to visit the facility, gets the speeder bike. This is the one you made. Test it, and he knows it's going to go wrong. And when it starts going, he's like, "Oh, I better shut it down." And Thrawn just like overrides it. He's like, "No, get it as fast as it can." He blows it to pieces. Brilliant, because this is all we want to see. We want to see that these guys are evil, that they do nasty things. And the one thing that is probably getting a little bit tiresome is Ezra and Kanan dressing up as stormtroopers again. But it was cool when Fulcrum revealed himself.
Yeah, are we going to spoil that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's old Lamb Chop.
There's a big spoiler thing here.
Yeah. Lamb Chop is Fulcrum.
Lamb Chop is Fulcrum, Agent Callus. And you know what? I was really happy. There was a moment where I just was like, I knew that he was going to go and help out the rebels at some point, but I've been waiting for it. I generally, in everything, root for the Imperials, right? Because I think they look cooler.
And yours, evil.
And I'm a Sith. But in this program, I've been waiting for him to turn good, and obviously since him and Zed hung out, where they were on the planet, he had a broken ankle, and at that moment I was just like, yeah, he's gonna turn and help them out, and it was really cool that happened. And then obviously Ezra chucking him through the glass with a force push, which was quite funny.
I think my general feeling with this whole episode was it was all a bit deja vu. I thought nothing, even though there was reveals, they were things that I thought I already knew. I thought I knew he was a goodie. I don't know why I thought that, but I already thought that had been revealed. And as you said about the stormtroopers, I've seen that a lot. I've seen Chopper being dressed up before.
Chopper, whatever. But no, there's some little things throughout the show. So obviously, like on my favourite episode is still the one with the TIE fighters with Wedge, and he helped them escape on that one.
Yeah.
And it's ever since that talk, I think it's just the way that obviously it's so well animated and the way that it's acted. David Oyelowo does the voice for Callus, obviously a brilliant actor, and in that one you could see that he was starting to think, these guys are right. So I think it's just that they've hinted along the way that he's starting to come around to their way of thinking as opposed to the Empire's way of thinking. He's playing a dangerous game because he hangs out with Thrawn. Like, it's not like he just hangs out with a bunch of stormtroopers that he can kick off bridges and stuff like he used to. He hangs out with Thrawn. But at the same time, he's been really bad to the heroes in the past, so he's got a lot of redeeming to do here. He's got to work hard at that. I see what you mean about the deja vu thing. I mean, and it is we've infiltrated. There's no cameras.
No.
Why are there no cameras?
Well, they always used to. They were, in episode on the Death Star, there were loads. They were shooting left, right, centre, weren't they?
Where are the cameras?
Well, they obviously learn, don't they? That's how they learn about that. Maybe that'll pop up in Rogue One. Oh, maybe we should install some cameras in this thing.
When they've stolen the plan.
Yeah.
I wish we had cameras in this damn Death Star. Put some up.
I guess the one thing with Rebels, because I watched the episode for the first time about 2 days ago, and it didn't hold my interest. I think I was on a train, and so I started looking at my emails for some reason. And then, so I watched it again tonight before we did this, just to make sure I hadn't missed anything. And it was better on the second viewing, so obviously was watching it a bit closer. But I think my just general feeling now on Rebels is it feels too kiddie for me. I think the story that they're telling is great, but I just don't like the way they execute it. It's just, I'd much rather see this story in a novel or in a comic where it's not aimed at kids, because the whole concept of the rebellion and this rebel cell and having to do, I think what Rogue One's going to be, hopefully, proper rebel cells doing sort of things that are a little bit probably dark and having to deal with a really mean, evil empire. You can't do that on a kid's Disney cartoon, can you?
Although, I mean, the thing with Rebels is it has had its episodes where it's managed to go a little bit darker in the past, like when Vader came into it and stuff like that. But I get what you mean.
There's no stakes. The Imperials are bumbling fools in it. Do you know what I mean? They are. They're idiots. They're not scary at all.
It's so funny though. Like the past 2 weeks, I have hated the episodes, and then this week I'm like, I love it, man. And you're like, no.
Well, I think you moaning at me for the past 2 weeks has suddenly got into my head. I'm like questioning what I'm thinking of this program.
I was so happy because we got away from that crap.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, the story was a good story. The elements of it were brilliantly done, but it's just the whole. I don't like the. You were saying about the animation. I hate the animation because it's nowhere near as good as Clone Wars. I don't think. No, because Clone Wars is more. If you look at the characters, they're soft. They remind me of Postman Pat. They've got they look like they're made out of Postman Pat heads.
And the Clone Wars are all like rectangles and stuff.
Yeah, I know, but at least it was stylized. It was more stylized, but in some ways it was more edgier. Do you know what I'm saying?
To be honest, for me, with all of these CG Star Wars animation, I don't love any of them, like how they look. Personally, I would have them, more like an anime, not
2D,
like with the big eyes and that, but like a more serious anime kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because, have you ever seen? There's a little, it's on YouTube. It's a Japanese style anime of TIE Fighter pilots. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Alright, I'm going to find it. I'm going to post it on the group.
Okay,
and I'll put a link below the video as well.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I don't know who made it, but it's so cool. And if they could have done it like that.
Do you want it to look like Ulysses 31?
Better. You didn't like Ulysses?
I love Ulysses. It was Jesus with a lightsaber.
Ulysses was cool. I'd be down with that. But better movement, because obviously nowadays they can get better. But yeah, I mean.
But I do like anything where you see the ships and things like that. It's just the way they do the people. It's not anything else. And it was the same with Clone Wars. The ships and that look really good.
The thing that I dislike most of the people is Hera. Because they're doing the Popeye arms. I don't get it. There's like thin-offs and then they're like big Popeye ones. Like she's been like, I don't know. With I know there's a bunch of guys
steering really hard.
Steering really hard. Like there's big muscly. I don't know what's going on. It's only the forearms. And I could never get past it. And then I had to look at my new Dawn books. I was like, does she look like? And she doesn't. She looks like just a normal person.
Is it not like a bellowy sleeve?
No. Look at it again because she's got a flight suit on. So it just comes down here, and then she's got like this big bulging Popeye arm. And I don't get it.
Well,
why?
She's green. Maybe she's eating too much spinach.
Maybe. Yeah, that could be it. That's why she turned green. She wasn't
spinach poisoning. Yeah. Dangerous stuff, that. So just keep away from it.
So overall then, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it from the side of you got to see Thrawn be a bit more ruthless. Look, it is aimed at kids, so I suppose they don't go as dark as I would like. I'd like it dark. But they got away from all this stupid, Hondo rubbish. And they went back to the Empire, being the Empire, rebels doing a little mission. Yes, they dressed up again, but they did a little mission. There's a bit of shooting and stuff. The stormtroopers were idiots again, but I liked the thing that we got Callus becoming, helping them.
Like I say, story was good,
and that's what really worked for me and got me excited because I was like, okay, we're away from it. And apparently the next episode as well is not a stupid Hondo style episode. It's probably more in line with this one.
So what would you rate it? How many mouse droids out of 5 would you give it?
I'll give this a 3 3/4.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, edging towards the 4, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I think it was one of the better episodes of the season. So yeah, enjoyed it.
Cool. Okay, so that's really. Oh, actually, the Dr. Aphra.
Yeah.
She's got her own new comic.
It came out this week. I've actually downloaded it on Comixology, but I haven't actually had a chance to read it. I was going to try and read it before we recorded, but
next week maybe.
Yeah, I thought, to be honest, we had enough to talk about today.
Okay.
Yeah.
On to the next.
On to the next subject. So that was reviews.
I know, you've got one other review.
I have got another
Just a
review.
small review, I guess.
Exactly. And it's a review of Battlefront Scarif download. So Star Wars Battlefront, the amazing game from DICE, EA. It's a year old now, Battlefront, and I loved the original two Battlefronts on the PlayStation 2.
Especially number 2 for me.
Yeah, I mean, they were my all-time favourite games. I'm not a gamer as such. I had a PlayStation since they've been out. I get one every time a new one comes out, but the amount of games I play, I probably play about 4 games a year, and to be honest, I only complete the ones that are really easy to complete because I am rubbish. But the Star Wars games I always got on well with. Battlefront 1 and 2 I actually did all right on. And so I was mega hyped for this Battlefront when it came out last year. And actually, I've been really happy with it. There's a couple of modes on it I really love. I love Walker Assault. I love Drop Zone. So I absolutely love those 2 modes. I could play them all day, every day, and be happy. New to me was this whole concept, because I bought my PS4 to get when that game came out and jumped onto the PS4 bandwagon. So new to me was having to join PlayStation Network and pay an extra 40 quid a year. And then I found out if I wanted to get the 4 updates that were going to come out, I'd have to pay another £40. And so ultimately, to play Star Wars Battlefront, it cost me 40 quid for the game, 40 quid for the extension, 40 quid for the PlayStation Network, and a PlayStation. So I spent probably about 400 quid on that. 400 quid, well, yeah, I love that game. So, no, to be honest, even if I hated it, I would love that game, because I need that £400 worth of love in that game. But to be fair, I'm still playing it. And that partly is because they have done these quarterly updates. They did a free one when the game first came out, the Battle of Jakku. That was good.
Is Scarif one a charged one?
No, that was free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that one was a first one, free, kids, get the taste. And then they did a couple of different map updates as well. But then they were starting in the charge. So if you're a season pass holder, you get the game, you get these downloads 2 weeks ahead of everyone else that can just buy them. The frustrating thing with this model to me is that because not everyone's got the same privileges because they paid for different things, it means not everyone can play the same games together. So like if you're just playing the normal modes, you're not on the same server as the people playing the Pacific downloads. So for instance, if you were playing Walker Assault, it's never going to rotate to the new maps on the new downloads, because it can't, because you're not playing against the people that pay. So that's a real frustrating bit. And to be honest, I don't know enough about the gaming world to know whether that's something that's common in other games, but it really annoys me, because I just want to play the different modes on Walker Assault or Drop Zone. I don't really want to have to go on a specific playlist and only play with people playing on the best spin download or whatever like that. So, but as I said, there's been the first DLC that came down was Outer Rim. That was pretty good. Actually, that's probably my favourite one out of all of them, to be honest.
What happens in that one?
So it's got each new download's got roughly 4 maps, and each of them have had a different brand new game mode, and they've also had 1 or 2 of the other modes built into it. So, and this is testing my knowledge. Outer Rim, so the maps were Jabba's Palace, outside Jabba's Palace, and there were, where was the other bits? Oh, some kind, I don't know where, I think it was Sullust, and it was some kind of like factory thing. Really cool, actually. That was a really nice map. And so the the new game mode that came with that was called Extraction, and that is a real fun game. Basically, you've got this like car. If you're the rebels, you've got this cargo moving thing that goes through the map, and you've got to basically follow it through and protect it to get it to the rebel transport ship. And obviously, the Imperials have got to stop you from getting it to there. But the brilliant thing is when you get the heroes. The rebel ones you get right at the beginning, and the Imperial ones you get at the end. So if you don't use them wisely, when you get towards the end, you've got Darth Vader and the Emperor and everyone trying to kill you, and you've got no one helping you. So, I mean, that's a real fun mode. I really enjoyed that one. So that was great. The second download was Bespin, and that just looked cool because it was Bespin. So you've got really, again, about 4 different maps of Bespin. You've got the real, like, city in the clouds outside bit. You've got a real, actually, the city, which we don't really see much of in the films. It also had another space battles mode, a fighter squadron model, which was really boring because it's just flying around in the clouds.
The bit with the fighters is the only bit of the game I liked.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I mean the fighter bit.
Was the only bit I liked.
Yeah, fighter squadron game. I really enjoyed that as well. But it did get repetitive because it was literally just fight 100 people, and every now and again you've got to go and shoot a shuttle down. And so they could have done more with that. And then in this Bespin download, they made it twice as long.
Okay.
Oh my god! And you were just flying around clouds. It was mad. Anyway, the Bespin also had a new mode, which was, you also got in the carbonation chamber in the Bespin. So that's a really cool map. That was wicked. And you could go in it and get frozen, but you didn't see yourself pop up. You just died. It was cool.
It would have been cool if you popped up frozen, right?
Yeah, it just says you got frozen.
Stormtrooper.
And what was that called? The mode in that was called Sabotage. And again, really good, because basically, if you're the rebels, there's 4 different points where you've got to set a bomb off, and then you've got to get to a central bit where you're going to be extracted from, and you have to hold that off for X amount of time. And that's really cool. That's because it's quite hard. It's quite good, so it's quite good. Then the one before the one that's just come out this week was Death Star. Again, I was really excited about that because it looked really cool, and they were talking about space battles.
They had a Death Star on Battlefront 2 as well, didn't they?
They did, yes, but only in. Well, no, because there was a lot of space fighting in Battlefront 2, and that's what a lot of people moaned about.
No, that's what I loved about it.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, moaning it wasn't in the new one. So basically, Death Star I felt was disappointing because it was. The new mode was basically 3 stories in one big game. You had 3 sections you had to compete. So the first bit is, if you're the rebels, you've got to you've got to destroy a Star Destroyer. And so you have to kill X amount of TIE fighters, then your bombers will come. You have to kill more TIE fighters, then your bombers will come, and you have to knock out the shield generators. And you have to keep repeating that until you've destroyed all the shield generators. Then once you get past that bit, you then go to the Death Star. You basically crash into it, and you've got to rescue R2-D2. So you have to basically board the Death Star, get to R2-D2, then escort him out. Right? Okay, that's okay. And that's the coolest bit because you're in the Death Star. It looks wicked. And then the last mode is more space battle. You've got to do basically the trench runs and destroy the Death Star.
Okay.
And it's bloody hard. I'm rubbish at that. I cannot do it.
Quite cool, though.
It looks cool, but it's really hard, so it's not very much fun.
As well,
huh?
The Death Star, is it a free download?
No. Again, all of these you have to pay for, or you buy the season pass as one big go. But it was quite good. But there wasn't much else to it. There weren't really many other modes to it. So I thought it was a bit boring, really, because you also had to go through all that space battles just to play that one bit on the Death Star.
Right, yeah.
Really frustrating. Really frustrating.
So you had to actually complete all the other ones before you could get to this
one?
Ah.
Yeah.
So I want to play that one.
So also, it wasn't like, I'm just going to have a quick go on this for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You had to literally commit. So annoying. And then... So not as bad. hopefully I'm not sounding too negative, because I do actually enjoy it, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And so the most recent one's just come down the pipe. It came down on Monday evening, I think, and it's Scarif. So basically, it's set in the Rogue One universe. It's basically, it says inspired by the events of Rogue One. So hopefully it's not too much of a spoiler, because obviously people with the season pass have got it 2 weeks before the film comes out.
Spoiler with this. I think you just see, like, you've got the hero characters, right?
Yeah, so basically the two playable characters, every time there's a new upgrade, you get a different playable character. You've got Chewbacca, Lando, etc. So this one you get Jin for the Rebels, and you get Director, what's his face, Krennic for the Imperials. So basically this one's got a similar sort of setup to Death Star. It's got a 3-tiered new game. So basically the first element of it is you have to do a space battle to get through that portal thing that you see in the trailer, you know, the shield hole thing, donut thing, whatever it is. Now, one thing I will say is it looks stunning.
It's a great looking game.
I tell you,
just generally.
But this is the best. This is the best they've done. It looks amazing. That whole planet and space battle is fantastic. And to me, it's fair, and it's also quite quick, and it's quite playable. And you get to be a U-wing, whatever the new wing thing is. If you get selected, you can get randomly selected to be one of them, who has to actually get through that portal thing. So that bit's really fun. And then you go into Scarif. So basically, if you complete that bit successfully, you go land on Scarif, and you basically, the next bit is called Distraction, I think, and you have to basically set some bombs off and blow up. I think it's one of the things that blows up in the trailer, that big thing that blows up.
Right.
The only thing I've found, I've only played it a couple of times, and I've probably played about an hour maximum on this game. I've just found the terrain really hard to get around. It's really dense bits of, like, those, you know, like the terrain, I don't know what they're called. Not pineapple trees, whatever those things are, palm trees, and bushes and stuff. But it's really, if you get in it, you can't get out of it. You have to really go round it. It's not like you can just go through it. Like, yeah, it really was a trap. You know, I felt like I was the X-wing sinking in the bloody quicksand. But so I found that quite tricky. It's a little. I mean, I'm sure I'll get used to it. To be honest, it just seemed a bit samey. It all looks the same. The maps that I've played so far. So there's that thing, and then the next bit on the Scarif mode, once you've completed that bit, is you have to get the data tapes and basically get them to the extraction ship. So it's a bit like cargo, when you have to collect a thing and carry it across. But there's about 8 of you got to do it. And it seems quite heavy-sided on the Imperials, to be honest.
Well, when the Imperials, are they just standard stormtroopers, or are you getting the shore troopers and the death troopers?
No, you're getting shore troopers, but not... so I think what it is in terms of costumes, the new costume that's playable is the shore trooper one, but you have to earn it. So basically, so there's a lot of people in there that are really good that have already got it. But otherwise, they're the other costumes.
Well, it's one of the things that I didn't like about the season pass, because when they released Battlefront, and as I say, it's a great looking game, you know, and they used all the original models and everything for the ship. But it always felt to me like a half-finished game. And then they released the season pass, and basically, if you paid like the exact same price as the game, so the game when it came out it was like 60 quid, so you paid 120 quid, you got this season pass, and like, hey, I've just come to the game, but I've got all the best guns in the game. And and that kind of stuff sucks. I hate when they do that stuff. I think I said before that I stopped playing this game about a month or 2 after I got it, and I actually got my PS4 in order to play this as well. I play a lot of games, so I just went on to other stuff. And nothing made me come back to it. And the thing, as I say, my favourite bit was the space battles. And what I used to love on Battlefront 2 was starting inside a Star Destroyer as a dude walking around, you know, having a shootout, get to the hangar, jump into the TIE fighter, fly along one of the big ships. I used to love it because it was just like being in the movie, right?
It was more open world, wasn't it? It wasn't so prescriptive.
And I know it was an older console, so obviously the areas weren't as big. But on this one, on the dogfight combat version that I played, it felt like you went out of bounds really easily. It was like, oh, you're getting too far away. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm just trying to turn around.
No, I mean it was very tight gameplay, particularly on the air battles. Definitely. Look, I mean, I haven't given the Scarif one long enough. I've only played that main mode, and it's also got the turning point mode on it, which is actually good fun. Turning Point's one of my favourite modes. It's similar. It was the new mode that came with Jakku, and it's basically occupy the Imperial bases and gradually get your way through. And every time you occupy one, then you move to the next level. That's good fun actually, and actually. It's also got Walker Assault version, but I haven't actually got to a Walker Assault game yet because that other game takes ages to play. So yeah, I mean it's good. It's interesting. I think the thing is now it's not new. It's a nice. It looks good and it's a different setting, but one part of the Battlefront thing is playing in parts, like for instance, like the best spin and the Outer Rim games were brilliant because they are areas that you've seen bits of but never fully explored, and so really exciting to play in. Whereas this, I haven't seen Scarif yet, and the coolest bit, which is being a stormtrooper running through the sea shooting people, isn't something you do in this game. So, rubbish. But hopefully Walker Assault will be good. Hopefully I get to blow out what that fella does.
Yeah, there's a ATC.
Yeah.
One of the things that you were saying there about the Scarif armor, where you have to earn it. One of the things that I remember from when I was playing it that I just didn't get was, obviously I like playing the Stormtrooper more than the Rebel. And you'd play so much like, oh, you've unlocked a new costume, and it's Stormtrooper without a helmet on. Who wants to be that guy?
I tell you what, after the Death Star download, they stopped that. You can't take the helmets off when you're on the Death Star. You have to play with a helmet on because it was so stupid. That was the one thing.
Stormtrooper without a helmet.
Yeah, I think it's because they didn't know how to customize them. But what they've done is they've added, like the shoulder pad thing, different coloured ones now, so you can do different coloured ones there.
So you can rank up and stuff.
Yeah, but also what's confusing, since the Death Star one as well, there's now, you can play as Imperial officers if you get to a certain level and you've got enough credits, which is okay, but now I can't tell who's a Rebel and who's a bloody Imperial. I'm shooting the wrong people. So it's really confusing now because before at least you knew to look for the people in armour when you want to kill the baddies.
Well, I was going to say, I'm surprised on the Death Star one that when you rank up as a Rebel, it doesn't give you Stormtrooper armour because you're in disguise.
That would be cool. Well, they did because obviously the heroes were in set costumes, weren't they originally? And it was always a bit jarring when you saw Luke fighting on Hoth in his Jedi gear. But they've changed that as well. So, like, Luke's now got Hoth battle gear when he's in Hoth.
Okay, because that was a bit stupid. Like, he'd be in his Return of the Jedi black outfit, wouldn't he? He's charging at you, Oh, I like that they've done that. So, I mean, a lot of these games, as time goes on, they make the little tweaks and everything like that, and that obviously helps enhance it. It is the little things.
Yeah, I think EA as a games company seem to be brilliant. They definitely seem to really listen to what the fans are saying. I watched quite a lot of the videos about. There's a lot of people on YouTube, Star Wars HQ, or Alliance. A few people out. I watched our videos, and they really cover Battlefront to the death. Every single little thing they know about, and they're always talking about how all the makers of it are tweeting back and forth and taking suggestions. So I think they listen, and you do see a lot of updates and stuff. But to be honest, I'm just not a savvy enough gamer to know what I would even want them to do, even if I
would be, you know what, to make me happy, all they would have to do is have a bunch of levels, just like those ones in Battlefront 2, where you're on a ship, fighting on there, you fly out, and I'm talking about the big Star Destroyers, the Rebel Corvettes and all that. And because I used to love it, me and my friends play on split screen, and where you're chasing down somebody and you're getting right close up to the ship and flying along it, and you really felt like you were in the movie, And
Well, also, you could do what you wanted.
Back up again, man. You know.
What was so great about that was you could choose what you wanted to do. If you wanted to just go and fight in space, you could, or you could get a transport, like you say, that would fly into the other enemy's ship. Then you would go into that ship, and then you would try and turn that shield thing off, or whatever you had to do. So it was cool. It was so cool.
I used to love taking my TIE fighter, flying it across into a rebel ship, and getting out and just shooting people.
Yeah, it was mad.
Fun, you know, and that's what you want, like, because the main thing is fun. That's what it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I know lots of people like the AT-AT assault and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people like different things. For me, that's always been the one that just made me enjoy it. And I think it was the lack of that kind of made me go, well, I don't like those modes. I don't really like that mode. Like, you know, I played them all a little bit, but it was the aerial combat one that I was really enjoying, and the one that really bugged me on it. And it was, you know, when you're flying, I don't know if they've changed this at all, but you have like a barrel roll maneuver, right? So if someone fires a missile at you, you can do a barrel roll, but then it had to charge up, right?
Yeah,
like,
really annoying.
If I'm the fighter pilot, I could do it twice. So there's two ships coming after me. One fires a missile, I avoid it. The second one fires, well, I'm dead.
Yeah,
like,
really annoying.
I could have got out of the way, man. So, but yeah, I'd be interested. I mean, keep me up to date if you are playing it and they, you know, change something. Like, have they changed that, by the way? The barrel roll, is that still a thing?
No, still a thing. Yeah. Still a thing. But I mean, I reckon, Jay, what we should do is set up a game. We'll do a...
Yeah, we can have a game. I haven't played it since it came out, but so I think I'll have to load it back onto my PS4. But,
But maybe we'll put it out on the Facebook page and see who wants to join. Like, and we'll set up a game.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay. Cool. I bet there's some people on our group that are really, really good, and we'll wish.
Yeah. Well, like I say, our mate Punnett that we used to go to college with, I've played him a couple of times on it. He seems to like it, and Rene fellow I mentioned earlier, he just recently bought a PlayStation. So, so there's a few people definitely that will probably be up for it.
Cool. Well, we'll do that then.
Let's do that, man.
Let's do it.
Like we've got time.
Right. So, the next section.
Yeah.
We better start trying to get on with this.
Yeah.
Is
Spotlight.
Ooh. So, this week's Spotlight.
Spotlight this week. Well, I was inspired really by watching the Rogue One trailer because I mistakenly thought that Jyn in the trailer is wearing an Imperial Gunner uniform, and then you told me it wasn't an Imperial Gunner uniform, but I thought it was. And what I'm talking about is the black costume with the little white emblem there and a massive helmet. Now, the reason I love that costume with Imperial Gunner before is I had the toy when I was a kid, and that toy looked so cool. He had this big helmet with this red visor, very reminiscent of Battlestar Galactica again. And it just looked really cool. He looked like a badass. He didn't look like an Imperial Gunner. And then when I realised what it was from, because for some reason I'd never noticed that fella in the actual films before. That fella, I don't even know if he is a fella.
I think they're male and female nowadays.
Well, probably, because that is the world we live in, where females are equally allowed to kill millions and billions of people. So, yeah, really cool costume. The toy was excellent, and I would often use him in other things. So, like if I was playing with my other figures, like Batman or the superhero ones, he would be some kind of like vigilante, cool ninja assassin dude. But like I say, what I thought was interesting was I thought that was the costume that Jyn was wearing. So I thought, well, that's definitely something worth us talking about. But then you told me it wasn't. So I've looked it up, and you were right. She's wearing an Imperial ground crew's costume, which to me I reckon is the same thing.
No, a ground crew's the people that bring the ships in. They wave the sticks around.
Oh yeah, I'm just
stuff like that.
Oh well, that's boring. So I've got my trusty visual dictionary again. This is a brilliant book. I would really recommend it. DK Books, Visual Dictionary, Ultimate Guide to Star Wars Characters and Creatures. and this is the one that was just all of the original trilogy. It's got a little bit. It hasn't got a full re-out on the Imperial Gunner. What it does say, if I can find the page, I obviously marked this really clearly.
I've got the Wikipedia in front of me.
Oh, the Wikipedia. Oh, yeah, I looked at that earlier as well. Because I did do a lot of research on this. As you can tell. I've lost my helmet. Oh, no. I saw a brilliant fact. Oh, here it is. That helmet is a flash shield. The reason why it's so big is so that they don't get blinded by the Death Star's immense energy beams, which we now are generated by kyber crystals. So that's quite exciting. What other technical wonders can I tell you about it?
The other thing that's quite interesting about the helmet, it has sensors for tracking enemy fighter craft as well.
Sensors to what?
To track down enemy fighter craft.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Well,
it is polarized lens to stop them being blinded, and they are Imperial weapons technicians, also known as Imperial Gunners or Death Star Gunners. See, the thing with those, I had the toy as well, and before I got the toy, I used to think they looked cool in the movie. I used to be like, oh man, I wish they'd have a toy of those. And then when it came out, he looked like a biker, the toy.
Yeah. Oh, like that was the other thing I thought it was, Street Hawk.
Street Hawk.
I pretended it was Street Hawk a couple of times. Oh yeah, I've got it here now. Death Star Gunners. Obeying the orders of their superiors, gunnery crew leaders ensure that the titanic energies of the Death Star laser systems do not overload or hit phase imbalances that would cause huge internal explosions. Now, the exciting thing here is they have antennae and transceivers, shield lenses, neural alloy helmet, and obviously the Imperial Navy emblem.
Of course.
So,
yes.
I mean, look, I just think they look cool, ultimately.
They do look cool.
The other thing that I also read was the other fellas with the big helmets, but the faceless ones, the ones that look like them.
The Navy troopers.
Yeah, now apparently they can be gunners. They just don't have the face shield bits.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, when I say I've got the Wikipedia there, I've got the canon side of it, and it kind of gives you a bit more on their role. And often the gunners would have often been recruits from within the Imperial Navy's piloting program, which were either still in training or past their prime. So, past their prime to be a TIE fighter pilot, for example.
Yes.
But they still had the skills and the expertise needed for operating the powerful weapons, such as ion cannons and turbo lasers.
Oh.
One of the things you'll notice if you watch A New Hope, when you see the attack run on the Death Star and you see them firing big guns outside, those ones actually look cooler because they've got sort of like leathery overcoat, like jacket. They actually say on here that it's like a quilted protective jacket. They always look like leather to me. And yeah, they're one of those characters that you don't see a lot of, but they just look cool and flesh things out a bit more. And they were always one that I wanted a toy for, and then obviously got one. And now I want Black Series figures of those in the 6-inch range, please.
Oh, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yes, because I'm build. I'm trying to build up more.
Well, yeah, you and your little empire that you're building.
Yeah. So Hasbro need to release those for me. But yeah, they're a very cool character. They play an important role in the Imperial Navy.
And I guess we will see them in the Rogue One as well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I would think we would, because we're going to see the Death Star, and that's not a spoiler.
Some kind of shooting going on.
And yeah, we've seen in the trailer the gunfire. So yeah, hopefully we should see those guys. A little bit of trivia that when you saw the laser fire, the big laser on the Death Star fire, and you got the two gunners standing there on the conduit. They were portrayed by Industrial Light and Magic model makers Grant McCune and Joe Johnson.
Wow.
And we all know who Joe Johnson is. He is the guy that designed Boba Fett and also directed The Rocketeer and Captain America.
Not the recent Captain America.
Yes. Yeah, the first Avenger, the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Oh, awesome.
So you've got a couple of guys in there, obviously you've got a couple in Return of the Jedi as well. But yeah, so they're a cool character, and they're an interesting character. I'd like to know more. Maybe something like Rebels could go into them a bit more. It'd be quite interesting to see some characters that are part of the Gunner Corps, you know.
Yeah, well, it'd be good for Rebels to do something interesting, generally. That'd be nice. Okay, well look, I think we have talked long enough, so I think it's time to take this bad boy home, as they say in cool places that aren't here.
Okay, well, that's it for this week. So if you like this video, click the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel, and please leave us a comment below, because we would love to hear what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you thought, and most of all, just join in the conversation with us. It's the actual channel is called Forced Conversations, so that's what it's all about, talking about Star Wars. If you're watching this, you probably like Star Wars, so join in. You can also join our Facebook group, which is Forced Conversations. You can tweet us at Forced Convo, or use the hashtag Forced Convo. We have a iTunes version of this, and it's also on SoundCloud as well.
Yeah, so basically podcast version, you can just search for it, or you can find the feed and then put that into whatever podcast catcher you would like to use, but it's definitely on iTunes, so easy to get there.
And you can email us at forcedconvo@gmail.com, and you can find me on Twitter at _J_tank, which is really then the letter J, then tank, which is my name. And you are welcome to add me on Facebook as well. And Colin?
Well, you can get me on Twitter at Captain Colin. And yeah, good luck trying to find me on Facebook. But I'll talk to you if you join our group. So join our group. Nice.
So, anything else from you this week?
No, I would like to say it's been a pleasure as usual speaking to you, Jay. Very excited about this time next week. So let's leave it at that. And remember, a rebellion is something good. I don't know. I don't know what the quote is.
All right. Well.
Yeah. There's no hope without a rebellion, or something like that. Or resistance is futile.
Let's go with that one.
There can only be one. Creation Matrix, light, a final light.
Until next time, may the Force be with you.
That's the one. May the Force be with you. See you later.